Hi everyone, I'm Nettie Kay. Welcome to the other side of my studio. This part of my studio is where I do my flat work, such as stretching canvases, cutting mat boards, and framing, as well as I've got a table over here that I set up my sewing machine when I'm doing design work. And so today I have a request from one of my customers for an odd size canvas that I can't buy already pre-made. Now, so what do you do when somebody wants something in a weird size? Well, I'll tell you. This one's an 8 by 16, I think that's what it is. Yes, 8 by 16. And so what I did was I ordered some of these stretcher bars. And I know this is a little bit daunting for some of you guys. You just think, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? They've got little grooves in the side, and all you do is you put them together, and you put the grooves in, and you just kind of, sometimes you have to use a hammer to kind of get them in because they fit very, very tight. So I'm going to put this together like this, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to put that canvas together. So hang on, it's going to be a little bit noisy, so I'm going to just turn my camera off as I hammer this down in, and then I'll be right back. Okay, hold on. Okay, now I've got my stretcher bars all hammered together and squared up, and I want to take my staple gun and put a nice staple or two on the corners to make sure that they don't go sliding and moving around. So I'm going to do that really fast, and hopefully it won't be too loud. And what I like to do is I'm going to stand over the top of it, and then I'm going to hold it down flat onto the bars so that I don't end up with like 5 staples. Let's see if I can do it. Woo! Oh, that was good. There. A lot of times I end up with like 6 staples. Now sometimes the staples don't go all the way in, so then I take my hammer and just hammer them down like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing in the other corners. All right, so you don't have to listen to that. I'm going to just do that for a second and I'll be right back. Okay. Now I've got everything secured with my little staples on the corner, on the back of the stretcher bars. Okay, so now I have my canvas that I've cut out. Now I didn't cut it 8 by 16, you guys, because you need some margin of canvas so that you can wrap it around the stretcher bars. Hello. So I actually made this 2 inches larger on both sides. So instead of 8 inches, I made it 12 inches by 20. So an extra 4 inches on the measurement, extra 4 inches larger than the actual size of the artwork. Okay, isn't that a cute little dog that I've got on here? I'm on here, good. Okay, so now I've got my canvas and I've got my stretcher bars with the ridged side up and the flat side down, and then I've got my canvas which I've cut 4 inches larger on the sides than the actual artwork. It might be too much of a margin, so I might want to cut that down. So I've got my scissors here, just in case I need to cut some of that off. Because if you have too much material to work with, it can get a little bit weird. And now normally I have these canvas pliers, and I couldn't find them. So I went down to my husband's shop, and we're going to try it with this. This is one of those crazy little, vice grip things that are clamp, and I'm going to see if I can do the stretching with this. If I can't, well, then I'm going to have to go and look for my pliers a little bit more. Okay, and you can use regular pliers to do this, but you can rip your canvas pretty easy, so I want to be careful about that. All right, so now I've got this lined up a little bit, and I want to give myself just the right measurement right there, especially on the bottom. I'm going to start out by turning this over like this, and I'm going to put this down on my chair a little bit so I can see. I'm going to line that up and make sure that it's centered well. I think I got to stand up because I want to put some pressure on this staple gun like this, and I'll also get the microphone away from that staple gun. I'm going to go right in the center, not on the ends, because I want to work my way out from the middle of the canvas. And I'm going to push down so that the staples will go in a little bit more flat. And I'm putting 1 staple in. they never quite go in, so I'm going to hammer them down a little flatter. It feels like I've got something on my hammer. I'm going to hammer that down like that. Okay, got it. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to take my canvas and flip it over, and then I'm going to pull it as snug as I can, like this, and kind of make sure it's all nice and centered. And this time I'm going to use my clamp to pull it. There. So it makes it nice and tight. So I'm using my clamp to pull that nice and tight. Get one right in the center. Not too bad. I think these staples aren't very sharp or something. I'm not sure. Okay, there. Now, there's the first two staples, and then I'm going to come along the side, and I'm going to do the same thing all the way around. So I'm going to go onto the side of this canvas. This kind of seems a little bit exhausting, doesn't it? Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing on the side over here. I'm going to grab this little thing, and I'm going to stretch it nice. Grab it and pull it tight. Like that. Okay. Again, the stretcher pliers are a lot better than this, but in a pinch you can do these. And then I'm going to hold it down and then hammer it in. Sometimes people use tacks and different things to make it work like that. So then I'm going to go all the way around. I'm going to come back up to where I started, and I'm going to put two staples along the side here, go around, and I'm going to work my way around. I haven't done one on this side yet. I'm going to work my way around and put the staples in as you go. So I'll go like this and clamp this down a little bit, and then I'm going to just keep stapling all the way around. Okay. And shoot. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to go back to the beginning, and I'm going to start by putting one staple on either side, turn it, put another staple on either side, turn it, and stretch it nice and tight as I go until I get enough staples. And then I'm going to show you how to do the corners here. But I'm going to go ahead and do these sides, staple them down, and then I'll show you how to fold in the corners. Be right back. Okay, now I've got some staples going all the way around the canvas. And so now what I think I'd like to do, some people do this, they'll just tuck in like you're doing one of those, like you're making your bed kind of thing. If it's too much material right here, you may want to trim off the corner just a little bit. So I'm going to just trim off the corner so I don't have quite so much bulk. And then I'm going to tuck that in like this, and then pull the top part over like this. Okay, hope you can see that. And then I'm going to give it another whack with the staple gun. I'm going to stand up again. And I'm going to staple that down once or twice. Woo! If I can hold on to it. Sometimes it's nice to have a partner when you're doing this too. Some big strong guy would be really helpful about now. And then I just hammer those staples in. So I'm going to do the same thing for this corner. I'm going to just clip off the corner just a little bit like this, so I don't have quite so much bulk. And then I'm going to tuck that in like that and make a little bed sheet corner just like this. Okay? But I want to make sure it's nice and tight, so I'll stick my little finger in there. I'm actually going to trim. I trimmed off some of this, but I think I want to trim off a little bit more here on this side so that I don't have quite as much to work with. So on retrospect, I'm thinking It would probably be better if you used a margin of 1.5 inches rather than 2, because 2 inches is just a little bit too fat. All right, so here we go. Now I don't have quite as much to worry about. There. That tucks in much, much better, a little bit better on the corner like that. Now I'll just put that in like this and hope these staples will work. Oh, that's one of my best ones so far. And I just hammer it in. Okay, and then I'm going to do all the rest of the corners the same way. So I'll cut off some of the bulk, tuck that in like that, and I'm going to throw some staples along the back, or you can tape it down, glue it down, whatever. And but I do like leaving a little bit of margin on here and not just cutting it straight to the edge of the canvas, because you never know when you need to tighten it up again, you know, so you want to have a little bit to grab onto for when you make some adjustments later on. And sometimes the canvases do loosen up over time, so you want to be able to do that. Okay, so I'm going to finish this up and I'm going to show it to you after I finish all those corners exactly like I just showed you. All right, hold on. Okay, now I've got my canvas all stretched on my stretcher bars. If there's some areas that are kind of a little puckery, then I'll go back in and retighten them up again and reshoot the staples. But on top of that, here's my next tip. If it's not quite tight in some spots, you can also get a little damp cloth with some water, put it on the back of the canvas, and you can either let it dry naturally or dry it with a hairdryer, and it should tighten it right up. And I do that a lot on some of, especially like linen canvases that get a little bit loose over time. I'll put a little bit of water on the back, or sizing, some PVA sizing, which is just like Elmer's glue. Okay, so I put that on the back and it will tighten it right up. That's your tip for the day. All right, so next time we meet, who knows what we'll be doing. Maybe we'll even paint this one. Wouldn't that be fun? All right. So take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye for now.